You may have dealt with this. I think I jumped on pretty quickly. But as far as the rest of the season is concerned, the opportunity to be able to use more substitutes and to have more players on the bench, that will satisfy, I suppose, players that you can actually utilise a bit more. What have you made of the overall decision? It's the right thing considering the circumstances?
First and foremost, of course, it's okay. You're slightly late as long as it's not the final meeting before match, Phil, because then you'll drop out of the starting lineup. So it's just like Sergio and Rico. They were slightly late for training, so there was a fine for them today. So it must be for the fine for all our journalists and the press conference. So you bring some chocolate or something for Christmas when we can meet again.
Absolutely, that would be my absolute pleasure, Thomas.
I look forward to that. No, thank you, Phil. No, thank you for the question. It's very pleased that the EFL have shown, I would say, great leadership, because I think it's one thing is that we, decided, or EFL's decided, that we only could have 3 subs and 7 players on the bench. And they did that with for a reason, with a lot of background knowledge and so on. But after that, they involved everyone, asked everyone, and they decided to change their decision, which I think is great leadership. So I can only praise them for that. I think I'm really pleased with it, and I really hope that we can benefit of it, and not every club, in terms of taking care of the players' health. And then it's up to the individual club to see how they will use it, to use maybe earlier subs or more subs, or that will depend on the mindset and the strategy from the head coaches or managers.
And a word on Wycombe. Obviously, they were the first opponents. They were the first opponents in a competitive game at the new stadium. Do you think, though, that now they're a different opponent from that early meeting, because they've become, it's a different competition, obviously, but they've become a little bit more settled in what the Championship requires?
Yeah, I think it's all about, a lot of things in life is all about experience. A lot of people will tell you about, this is how it is to cook food or run or play in the Championship or Premier League, and you try to prepare, but you can't really prepare before you are really in it and really experience it and learn from it. And I think they have a very steep learning curve, and I think they learned a lot, and you can see that with their performances. And I think especially against Watford, the relegated Premier League side, where I think they should have won. I think they deserved to win that game. 2 fair wins against Birmingham and Sheffield Wednesday just show that they are giving everything, and we are expecting another unbelievable tough task where they will be very competitive with their strength, which will be playing relatively direct, compete around the second balls, make sure they will put crosses in the box or balls on the box, and then every set piece situation they can take, they will take that, and we need to handle that very well. And on the flip side, on the ball, we need to find good solutions and try to find a way to open them, which of course we've been focusing on, and hopefully we can succeed with that.
You talked about Pontus coming back, and I suppose this is the reverse of a question I asked you a few weeks ago about the loss of the likes of Pontus and Christian, not just as players, but also from a leadership point of view. So when those sort of players return, it's not just what they can do on the pitch as players, it's what they do as leaders in difficult circumstances, tough times during games. That makes a difference as well to your team. Yeah, massively. I think, first and foremost, Pontus and Christian have done everything they can. They've travelled with the squad, and they've been cheering on from the stands, and they've been in the dressing rooms, and they been top in terms of that. But it's the true leaders you see in the tough moments. It's easy being 3-0 up with 10 minutes to go. That it's easy to praise and say well done, and all that. But when you keep a cool head and a warm heart, and you take good decisions in the crucial moments of a game, and encourage and tell directions,
And that's where Pontus is going to be crucial for us, and we are looking forward to welcome him back into the team.
And stats, obviously, you can read into them what you want, can't you? You can say, oh, well, it's only 1 win in 4, but then again, it's only 1 defeat in 7. I was talking to another manager yesterday, talking about draws and a lot of draws and the fine margins, and he said maybe a bit more courage, maybe risking losing a game but going for a win. From your analysis of what's happened in the first part of the season, what tiny little differences would make a difference that you could have? You said that you should have had more points maybe from the performances. What little differences would have maybe yielded a couple of extra points, do you think?
I think first, as you said, I think trying to be brave enough to be offensive enough is something I think in general we try to do. Also against Middlesbrough, for example, we early changed to play a 4-4-2, 2 strikers with the question from Hector with Marcus. For example, so we always try to go for the 3 points, even in a game where we maybe not on top. I think for us in some of the game, it's just down to pure margins. That the deflected shot from Norwich is an example of what can you do different in terms of that. But I would say that 3 things we could do, a bit better. I think if you look at the expected goals against and chances, we are still very low compared to very low like last year. But the actual goals and maybe some of the bigger chances we need to, to cut that down is a little bit in terms of stop more crosses and defend better in the box. I think that's a big thing. I think we scored. We are scoring up there among the top teams in the division. I still want us to control the game more in the final third and also get more good crosses from good areas into the box and also get more set pieces from these situations.
And then finally, for me, I'm not sure if we dealt with this last time you faced Gareth Ainsworth, but of course he's known as Wild Thing. He plays the guitar. You've got sort of rock star looks yourself, actually, Thomas, haven't you? Have you got a musical instrument of choice that you used to pick up?
I really like Gareth, and I think it's impressed what he and his coaching staff have done with Wycombe. And I would love it. I could sing. I would love that. I'll play the guitar. I would really love that, because if we could, then we'll make a duet, Gareth and I, and that would be bang on. I promise you. I'm good at partying, so I think I'll be pretty good at it. I just can't sing, unfortunately.
I know you feel. And finally, what sort of chocolates do you like, just so I can get ordering?
Isn't it something just surprised me with this? Isn't it called hotel chocolate or something like that? Isn't there a company called that? Just surprised me.